A 14-year-old boy is walking in the wilderness with a 33-year-old man. They're searching for a cave where a very powerful Sangoma lives at. It's at night, it's dark, the moon is at the top. And the boy asks this man, why exactly are we looking for this person? I mean, we don't really know if they're actually going to help us. Mind you, they're foreigners in this place, timeline-wise. And the 33-year-old man tries to explain to him, this is their only shot of actually going back home. Because if they don't meet this powerful Sangoma, how else are they supposed to go through the timelines back to where they came from? But the boy has a biasness about the connotation towards Sangoma. And basically his whole point, as he tries to counterfeit this necessity to meet the Sangoma, he says to him, he just does not understand why they should trust him. Because when times were hard for the whole continent, I think you can tell what those times were, they were not there. And the man just promises him that whatever that thing is, it's so unnatural and so unfair because they are also people. How else are they supposed to save people when their own families are not safe? And the conversation goes on to be about power, ability, responsibility, and just your ability to be there for what you are assigned to do to a people. So in this type of scenario, generally speaking, I don't want to say I take sides, but it really fascinates me how the younger generation or the latter day generation, because mind you, these two characters do not come from the same timeline, and in this timeline that they're in, they are both trespassers or strangers. So here's my biasness about a particular group of professionalism in this timeline. Okay, so when I about to human rights activists, they basically fight for rights of people, freedom of speech, freedom to live, humanity and inhumane acts cut out, and all this kind of stuff. I think that they do good, and I think that they intend well. But I really want to understand the relationship between this thing. If I'm a human rights activist, because I've never seen them riot or pass laws or fight for this type of activity, how is it that a human rights activist can be a Christian? I mean, if you're a human rights activist, that means that you're against cannibalism and drinking blood, right? So how is it that you're a Christian and your entire connotation towards responsibility over your own actions, your own ability to exercise your existence, yet when you make a mistake, it's somebody else's responsibility to redeem you? I thought you're a human rights activist. Doesn't the right come with the responsibility? Apart from that, how is it that they've never rioted about people not drinking and eating the blood of another man's son for their own integrity? I guess these are questions that some of you just might not like. I'm just saying that, some of these professions in the environment of Ubuntu, once again we'll talk about, some of these professions are just necessary because Ubuntu has been slowly being detached from the people. But if Ubuntu was here, we wouldn't have human rights activists. I don't think so. I think human rights activists are a sign that a society and the people are collapsing. I think human rights activists are a sign that Ubuntu is buying its own essence through the exercise and the existence of a person, Moto. An African person, by the way, is only the fact that they are not there, or they're just not perpetuating natural responsibility over another person's existence. So, why do they never riot about stopping people from drinking blood? I don't know. Because we're here, I generally see some of these professions as just extremists. You know, it's like, when we see a human rights activist, to me, when I see one, all I see is like a supremacist who is wearing pajamas. I'm not trying to degrade. What I'm saying is the level of intensity from someone who's a supremacist is obviously way higher. I mean, if we take Hitler and then we take somebody who's a human rights activist, Hitler is about the rights of Germans and the importance of Germans to the whole world. That's a problem though. But a human rights activist is so generic about everybody. So who is likely to be remembered in history? Obviously Hitler, but not the human rights activist. Because the human rights activist does not stand for particular people. He stands for everyone. And we think that being a human being means that we should be fighting for everyone. In my opinion, to be honest with you, because we're here, I think that being racist is not actually a problem. I don't think it's a bad thing. And I don't even think that the creator of all, the source of life, Mudimu, looks down at racists and says, these people must die. I don't think so, to be honest with you. If that was true, then a particular race wouldn't be alive right now. But that does not justify why I say that. The reason why I say racism is not really a bad thing is because, being racist is about I am for my people and only for my people before another people. You understand? Before another people. That's you being a supremacist about a particular race of people. You are a supremacist. There's nothing wrong with that. The problem is that in your supremacy-ness, you want me to validate your supremacy by bowing down to you. That's the problem. That's the problem. I think in this whole relationship between black people, white people, the problem is that white people just did not have a pause to say that, okay, they are powerful by themselves, but we don't need other people to help them. They don't need anybody else to help them. That's the problem. The problem became when they made other people rub their importance by belittling their entire existence. That's the problem. Being a racist is not a problem. Being a supremacist is not a problem. If I stand here and say that I am for the rise of melanated people before any other people, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. If a white person stands here and says he's for white people, for the rise of white people, the power of white people, before any other people, there's nothing wrong with that. If a Chinese person stands there and says he's for the Chinese people, before other people, the power of Chinese people, before anybody else, the Asian, the European, whatever it is, there's nothing wrong with that. Because I believe that we are all an aspect of the one source of life. I don't think that white people are a mistake. I don't think that Caucasian people are a mistake. I don't think that melanated people are a mistake. They're not a mistake. Nobody here exists till today out of being picked before the other one. I think we're all an aspect of the creator of one. And the problem is that as we learn about our value, white people or black people, we think that other people must validate that by either being our friend or by either just bowing down to us. That's a problem. Being racist is not wrong. In fact, I think that for the entire decade after, actually it's not even a decade, after Oz's time being relinquished from slavery, I think African people have denied the world the experience of being African. I mean, let's just take from a very close example. The African woman is denying the African man the experience of an African woman. They wear wigs, umbrellas, long nails. I mean, I have nothing against long nails, but wigs, something else. No wigs. No wigs. If she wears wigs, it's wrong. So with that being said, that's my biasness. You probably have, just like the 33-year-old man, you probably have an understanding of your own. Just what do you think? Do you think that being racist is a horrible thing? Do you think that it should be abolished? I don't think so. I actually think that the entire planet would be way better, actually has a chance of being a powerful planet if just we all stood within our own power, and then we can have a table. But if I pull up to the table and I have power because you gave me something, then you shouldn't be invited to the table. But then, of course, they say the world elites don't want that. Who is the world elites? Why should we be paying attention to them? Why should they be paying attention to our own rise? Perhaps that's the question. I don't know. Maybe you have the answer. I'm willing to learn. Anyway, that's enough for today.